All right. What's up, YouTube? This is Red Devilos from Red Devilos Reviews. Today is a special day as I will be having what is now called the ARC podcast, which is another reviews core. And I'm here today with my good co host, who is.
Unity reviews and analysis. Well, you can just call me Unity.
Yeah. So the both of us are film critique YouTubers. We generally talk about film, TV criticisms, and things of that nature. Um, in our podcast we are kind of just going to do that, but like in a more uh you know chill and informal manner. um for our podcast we're going to try to do every Friday between 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then on Saturdays you guys could re-listen to the podcast again using Spotify or any other podcast related apps. And yeah, so our first episode today is about sex education. And what do you think about sex education? Uh, at first, before we get to
Well,
now.
at first I saw it on YouTube recommendation that it's a for trailer. It's like, oh, it's the guy from a lot of things I've seen, like Hugo, um, like the body in strip pajamas, like an Ender's Game in this show. It's like, okay, interesting. I'm now watch it, and season one I immediately fall in love with it, and
Yeah,
same for season two, and then I stopped loving it.
yeah. So for me, sex education is a little weird because like I think season one is the best season, which there's nothing wrong with that. But like when you have a four-season show that spans across from 2019 to 2023, and season one is still the best, that's kind of a problem. And then it gets progressively worse and worse uh, between each season as well. So that also doesn't help. But like season one and two is at least like you know solid. But like season three, and then there's a drop. Season four, uh, it goes to a point of no return, and frankly, I'm not really sure um, how we even got to that point.
My God.
Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, if you don't know, Sex Education is a Netflix original. It was a sex comedy drama. It was created by Laurie Nunn, and as I said, it was spanning between 2019 to 2023. Uh, Basically, it's about a group of kids dealing with the facets of life, and how that comes with like dealing with things like sexuality, things of like identity, and knowing your place while also proceeding to move forward in life. So that's generally what the show is about. It's not really something that it's not like heavy in plot or like it's mostly relied on characters, and that's obviously what it has to go for.
yep. To be honest, we should give a rundown of every single season beforehand. Just like what are general thoughts, a bit more detail.
Yeah. So obviously we talked about Asa Butterfield, and he also co-stars with Emma Mackey, who plays Maeve Wiley,
And
and
that is
Kuti
just also
Gatwa, I think,
yeah,
Eric,
yep, the 15th Doctor.
the 15th Doctor. And yeah, what made season one really special was like it had a lot of trope kinds of characters, but it didn't feel like a typical kind of show in that sense where like that's all they relied on is what they are. Um, but like I feel like that magic just kind of goes away moving forward, and I think part of it just comes from like expanding more towards the um specific tropes. Like season three is like very clear as to why it does that. Like because you have like the main principal who Hope is like literally like a worse version of Umbridge in Order of the Phoenix. Like it just goes to a point where it's like cartoonishly evil in terms of like, oh, you just gotta follow these status quos and like you gotta like wear the uniforms, you gotta walk in a single file line that they don't even apply that well. Then it just like goes on and on and on, and to the point where
They
uh
just
all the conflict just like ends, and we just like we lost funding to the school, so all that conflict just didn't matter anyway.
yep.
Uh, so yeah,
Yeah, so when I saw like season one and two, I was in a different country. I was like, and then it's like I was actually in love with it. And then season three happened. I
and then
was
season
what?
three,
And then it's like, what the fuck happened? What the fuck? And
yeah,
somehow, and
yeah,
somehow, it's still not the worst season.
somehow,
Somehow,
yeah.
I
So
mean,
like again, as I said, like the show doesn't really rely so much on a plot because like it really is just like about characters and their relationships with each other and then how they react accordingly. Um, so when we do break down season four in particular, it will be more focused towards the characters in the show, and how they, how they were portrayed throughout. Um, but basically, season four it picks up after season three in terms of like, Otis and Maeve they finally become a couple, but it had to be long distance because at the end of season three, basically, well, Maeve has to go to America for school, and so they're trying out the long distance thing. It's not going as well as it probably could have. Uh, that it happens. It happens. Um, because like Moordale had lost its funding, they basically had to move towards you know, like
like,
to a new school basically.
yep,
And the new school is just, completely different. Um,
yeah. To be honest, it tricks me to believing that is a college.
yeah. Like for frankly, like the thing is like you really don't see that much like schooling to the point like Otis is really just there to talk sex therapy, which again is like the whole concept of for me it's like with the show is like it is like a weird concept in general. It's like it is a 17-year-old giving sex advice to a bunch of other kids around his age and sometimes to adults. So it's like that kind of concept is just kind of like an odd thing to really, you know, revolve a story around. But like it also goes to a point like is everything you do at the school just talking about the sex lives of other friends and coworkers? It's like I don't know. It's like you rarely see things like school, but then again, it's like of course, like people are here for the sex education, not the schooling. So I don't know. I've always thought it was a weird concept, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, they would make it work for season one and two.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, God, we might as well just get through this shit. I don't know what to say about we. They just get over it.
Yeah, yeah. So why don't we start off with Ruby? Uh, Now I don't know about you, because I know like a lot of the discussions about the characters in the show. Obviously, one of the biggest discussion points is either do you prefer Ruby and Otis or do you prefer Maeve and Otis? And before we'll go to Maeve and Otis later. My thing about Ruby prior to season four is kind of like you know she doesn't really become a character until season two when honestly like it was kind of like really weird how she gets like into the plot like it was like after the drunken speech by Otis, where he completely dismisses Ola and Maeve for everything that happened, and then so then he, you know, during drunk sex he fucks Ruby, and it's like it's weird because like the show in season one made a big deal about like him losing his virginity, him like just doing a hand job and masturbating and ejaculating basically. So it's like they made like that was like a season one arc that he had to kind of go through, which again it sounds really weird to talk about, but like yeah, that's generally what's going on. So it's like season two, it's like the next step is obviously lose his virginity, but it's like it kind of just happens off screen and drunk, and he doesn't even remember it. So it's like I don't know. I just found like a really weird jump um, in terms of the priorities for Otis's character. But then with Ruby, it's like because like Ruby before she was just a mean girl, uh, popular and all that. Uh, at most, like we see like she does get unfairly treated with the whole Olivia like taking the leaks of her vagina and like sending it to the rest of the school, and then they have that whole ending with the "I'm Spartacus" moment, but just it's my vagina. Um, yeah, so like that's basically like most what you got. Then like season two, like after like she has sex and all that with Otis, uh, you get to see more about like the she's not like obviously like she doesn't want to be seen with Otis is the one thing, and then like the other thing is like um they have to check for the pills and all that to see if she got pregnant or not. Season three obviously is like where you actually get more of Ruby, and I do understand why people really loved Ruby in that season, especially with everything that went with her dad, and like you learn that she's not really that rich. Her dad has MS, and like they only have as much as their her nurse mom to help them stay afloat, and you start to feel really bad for Ruby. Um, but yeah, that's kind of like the most you get out of it. The worst part, obviously, is just like Otis is like really bad to Ruby. It's like it's clearly one sided. She said I love you, and
He
he
didn't
didn't
say
say
that
it back.
back.
Yeah, and it's like it's like I do feel for Otis in a sense because like I guess it's like the whole concept is like, do you have to say it right away or anything like that? It is. I mean, obviously, that's just like something you hope to say the right thing at the right time, but sometimes it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, my problem with like that side is like Otis is really the person that I don't like in that situation, which we'll come back to that later. But yeah, then outside of that, like she's like gone for the rest of the season, except for like the one moment where she fights Hope. But it's like that's like really stupid.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Hope.
And yeah, that's basically her in the other three seasons. You
Yeah.
want to talk about season four, Ruby?
Yeah. So yeah, she moved to the college, right? With like Otis and Eric and some other people like Amy. So she set up to be lonely, sure, I guess. To be honest, I have no idea why doesn't she just hang out with them until the old situation.
Yeah, like the whole like the thing is like with season four, they kind of have like another group, kind of like the Coven. I think that's what they're called. Um, which is basically the same group as the Untouchables from seasons one through three, except you know, I guess like they're said to be nicer as people, but
We'll get to that.
which we'll get to that. Yeah, so basically she's just trying to fit in with them since they're kind of the popular kids at the school that they're at, and she's with Otis again. I mean, at most you got things like
Uh, to be honest, I have no idea because she only did that because she recognized, oh, who is apparently her childhood bully. Somehow she recognized her.
yeah, like with O, it's like with another character we'll talk about later. O is like I guess the quasi villain of the story, and I put that very loosely.
Yeah.
But basically,
And
like apparently back when they were in kindergarten or something, she basically exposed Ruby that she was a bedwetter and all that stuff, and it got leaked online to the internet. My main thing is like, you haven't seen her since then, so how do you know that is O first? And then secondly, it's like O doesn't recognize Ruby at all. Like she does not recognize Ruby at all.
yeah, oh my god.
So it's like I don't understand like how this beef happened, and it's like it when you like kind of like dissect it, it's kind of like it's clearly the beef is there just to because like obviously we've talked about you know Ruby being sympathetic because like she's not actually the rich girl, she's actually poor, and all that while being popular. So it's like we kind of have this whole thing like yeah she got bullied when she was a kid. So obviously they add another layer to that, I guess, so to speak,
Yeah,
and
but
with
we'll
O,
yeah, we need to talk about the progression because holy shit.
yeah. And
Uh,
then how you want to talk about how her arc ended?
well, for before even the arc ended, it was like I don't know because at the very end, she basically was like, "We're not friends anymore, Otis." That's how her arc ended. And beforehand, she was like, "Oh, you're my childhood bully that I was fighting against you. Yeah, I'll consider your advice." Great. Fuck.
Yeah, and then also with Otis, like she just like I don't know. I guess like she was just not cool with it anymore. They made like a
Yeah.
really big deal about her like Otis sleeping like he passed out on her bed basically.
Yeah.
They didn't even have sex, but like they make such a big deal out of that to the point where
Yeah.
it just like clouds everything.
And then you have to remember when they wake up, Ruby barely reacted. It's like, oh yeah, it's pretty normal. It's implied she doesn't really care about it.
Yeah, yeah. That was just like that was like a weird like 180. Like she just like completely drops Otis from her life moving forward. And yeah, like she's like she's like nothing. And my whole thing with Ruby is like I did always like feel like I never really liked Ruby. Like she's cool. I never had an issue with her. I just never really liked her. Like in the sense like I always thought like it was season 3. It's like she just looks really goofy with Otis. It's not really because of her, it's because of Otis really. Because like she's clearly way too hot for you. And it's like I understand like, with the act I'm not disrespecting Asa Butterfield at all, but it's like I mean it's clear like these two just don't really look like they would be together in any sense. So it's like I don't know. I always found it like a weird pairing to do. Like it kind of just happened out of nowhere. Like again, the whole drunken sex thing happening off screen and all that stuff. It's like if this happened to like Olivia or like you find another female character in the show, it's like this same thing could have happened. But it's like obviously you can just say that about any character anywhere. So it's like I don't know because like Ruby has been there since season 1, like from the beginning, but like you don't actually get anything about her until like mostly in season 2 in that thing that only happened because of the drunk sex off screen.
Uh,
So that's always been my thing about Ruby, but I do
yes.
understand why people like her though. So I'm not, or at least liked her from season 3 standards. So
Yeah. I mean, they try to give her an arc in season 4, which is a fucking stupid arc. She's lonely at the end. To be honest, I don't even know how does her arc concluded. She has other friends, which if you go by the entire season, what are her other friends?
yeah, that's the other problem because like her other friends like Olivia and Anwar from seasons 1 to 3. The thing is like they didn't return back for season 4, so they kind of had to like so apparently they went to another school, and apparently she can't hang out with them, and the only reason why that's happening is because they're not in the contract, so she can't hang out with them contractually. So
If they are not in the contract, just pretend they don't exist. Well, I mean, they could have just have they could she could have just, or maybe the showrunner can just have them be in the funeral. I mean, they bring the teacher back.
they brought the teachers back, so
Yeah.
it's yeah, and that is kind of like another thing that will kind of be a constant theme in the other characters as well. It's like you can kind of see like with season 4, it's like you kind of have to act like some characters just don't exist outside of like like maybe a name drop, and then obviously because like yeah, it'll be more apparent when we get to some of the later characters. All right, so that takes us to Jackson and Viv. Um, I like Jackson from seasons 1 and 2. I always thought like the whole concept of like you know, he's a swimmer character obviously, and he's not like a meathead or anything like that. Like he legitimately wants to be a good boyfriend to like Maeve. When they were having their relationship in season 1, he puts in a lot of effort to try and get her basically. Um, and then I also liked him with season 2. It's like they kind of go off the fact like he self harmed himself, and like Viv like is like helping one to help him like with his general education stuff and like with the Shakespeare play, and finding a new hobby after swimming is kind of gone for him now. So like that kind of stuff was like interesting about them. But then like with season 3, Viv just becomes like a sheep to Hope, which I get it was because of the whole college, it'll look good on my resume kind of thing. But like it just like I don't know, she was just a glorified hall monitor basically for most of the season. And then Jackson, like he gets in a relationship with another character who we'll talk about later, Cal,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it just kind of that also just came out of nowhere. Like
Yeah, I don't
he's already like cool with her. Sorry, cool with them, and all that. So it's like yeah, so it's like um I don't know, like and then they try to have like some kind of relationship, but that didn't really work out. And then yeah, but Jackson is like I don't know, Jackson is just like a mouthpiece really for most of the season. And then like another weird thing like I found with Jackson in particular is like you know they go like the steps to like he tried weed for the first time, and that was fine and all. But then it's like then he just takes shrooms like immediately. Like he takes mushrooms like out of nowhere. It's like I I don't think you would do that. Um that was just and that was that oh my god, that was yeah, that was a disgusting moment like where Raheem takes a shit, tries to pull it out with his sock, and
and
it
froze.
lands on the car windshield wiper. And it just and they spend 10 minutes talking about who flung the poo onto the French guy's windshield wipers. And the way they tried to end it was the same, like, it's my vagina, but like all the boys now are saying, it's my poo, it's my poo. Uh,
Oh my god.
it's like, what is this doing in sex education? Like, it just made no sense, like, why any of this is happening whatsoever.
Oh my god. This looks like an episode from Community. Except
Oh,
commu Oh my god, except Community actually knows how to use those concepts.
yeah, it's like, I just want to know who's the person that was like, yeah, let's take a really long segment to talk about flinging shit, actual human shit, like to just someone's car windshield wiper and then argue about it. I don't. It was so stupid, and this coming right after the mushroom, the whole mushroom scene too. So it's like I don't know. The season was weird, but yeah, season four is like
Oh my god.
season four. Jackson is dealing with uh possible prostate cancer, and then also dealing with his biological father, but apparently that didn't
Go on.
really go anywhere, and like that wasn't even set up or anything like that. I don't
It,
know. Jackson
it,
just became like a caricature by the last two seasons, and
to be
then
honest, to
yeah,
be honest, I legit thought Jackson and Fifth and even Cal are new characters when I
yeah,
saw season four. Oh my god.
yeah, and then Viv just has like a new boyfriend,
Oh my god.
and that
Gee.
also
What's
the
what's
boyfriend is crazy, so
to be honest, the boyfriend is only crazy in the last
he's,
episode. Yes, at first he just like oh he just kind of have like oh maybe he's likes her. I was like nah, and then and then out of a sudden he just abusive. I was like Jesus, where did that came from?
yeah, that there's a lot of there's a lot of moments like that where things just happen in the last episode only and nothing else, and we'll see that a little bit more with some of the newer characters. Another one like we talked about earlier, Cal. They they aren't really a character either, frankly.
Yeah,
Like season three, it's like they're non-binary. They want to stop like all these changes that Hope is doing, and they have a
that's
very
it.
strong opinionated thing. It's like, all right, cool. And then season four, it's like they're dealing with the whole, the whole dealing with testosterone and also trying to find a relationship. And then also they go missing in like one of the episodes, and like
I
it's just
I
like
got, I got no idea how that happened.
they just went missing all of a sudden. I guess like
I don't know. It's like I don't even know. It's like they just said oh I they
and
no
the
one
way
said
they
oh
and the way
no
they
one.
were found was like with Eric and his superpower, but we'll get to that in a bit. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so
there's really nothing there though, and I don't want to. Obviously, I'm not trying to shit on the person, but like there was nothing there, and I just feel bad for them.
why did they bring Jackson Fifth and Cal back? All they're doing is Jackson is yeah, I want to find my birth parents because I might have terminal illness. Fifth is just
Oh
I Fifth is
yeah,
just I have a boyfriend now. Cal is actually I don't remember it until the last episode. Just like I can't do surgery. That's why I go missing.
hmm,
Why do you bring them back? Holy shit! You could just bring like Camille or the alien obsessed sex girl or just Ola.
yeah. It was just like it's not really much to say. It's kind of the issue, and that leads us
Oh
to oh.
oh fuck.
So you want to start breaking her down,
Wow. At first they okay we'll get to that later.
right?
They make Otis extremely bad just to make O look good. Because she's nice, caring, and Otis just like no you stole my sex therapy. So this is how
Yeah,
they
even
try
though
to make.
it was their school to begin with, so it's like, she stole my thing. Okay, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's how they want us to like her. Sure. Afterwards, she was like, uh, and then she's like extremely nice, and then afterwards, it's like, oh, I actually ghosted a lot of people, and then it's like, and then she just came up on stage, just like, I'm sorry, I'm queer, I don't know how to deal with them, so I ghosted them.
So it's like, basically what happened is like, one, she was gaslighting Otis, to be fair. Like, which again, I only think that happened because according to the writer, she even said like they had a lot of like character revisions because one, it was to end it as season 4 to be the last season, which apparently they didn't really get to know that until 90% of the show production was done, until they got reshoots and rewrites and all that stuff. So a lot of O's characterization has been modified for that reason, and I will preface that first. But from what they ended up with, O is like gaslighting Otis in a way, in the sense like, yeah, it's like, oh, you're giving advice, and it's like, but you had like a father that was a sex addict, so it's like, why should people listen to you? And it's like, and then after Ruby found dirt on O, it's like apparently O is asexual, so a lot of that, well, so basically like there are some people who try to get relationship advice from O, but when they had like more complicated questions, like revolving like a deep relationship or anything like that, anything that requires like more time and intimacy to like talk to them about these kinds of things, she would not like she would ghost them basically. And her explanation for that is because I'm asexual. That's not I don't know that much details about what's going on and all this kind of
And
stuff.
then everyone shared because she's asexual. That's why it's allowed to ghost people.
Yeah, and another thing I found goofy about O is like, one, it's like obviously like with the Ruby thing, it's like she doesn't know Ruby, so it's like that makes no sense. Why Ruby knows her so well, and like they actually know each other even though they both haven't seen each other since they were 11.
To
That's
be honest, I
one.
don't. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my god, that backstory. Did
and
you?
then my other problem is like O is a self-taught 17-year-old talking about sex therapy. So it's like, what is she doing on Gene's podcast, giving like as a co-host for sex therapy? Like, one is like Gene is like actually a registered, licensed sex therapist. So it's like, what why is O, the 17-year-old self-taught person,
Well,
being a co-host for a sex therapy podcast with someone who is actually licensed? So it's like that part also doesn't make any sense.
they tried to excuse it by saying, "Well, you see, she's a big fan of her."
Yeah,
That's it. Oh my god. I mean,
a lot of people are fans of Gene. So
oh my god. Yeah, and then I don't even know because if she ghosted people because she's asexual, was like, wait, how is she able to give advice to so many people? Just remember, in the first episode, her booking is like fucking full. You have to wait for months or weeks. I actually don't remember, but very long time in order to got an appointment, and she somehow is able to like give advice to every single person, no problem.
yeah, it's like, I mean, like you did have like some moments like where like gives like pretty good advice to Otis, like about like his relationship and like how he might be with like Maeve and all that, even though he didn't really want that therapy to begin with. But like, I mean, it does show like she has some knowledge on what she is trying to say. It's just like this whole election thing. It's like, also like, if you remember, like the election didn't really matter at the end either. Like they do like so much with the election and the votes and like going through all that process and then the backstabbing and all that, but then O still ends up as the sex therapist anyway.
Yeah.
So it just makes the whole thing null.
Oh,
Um, it's just an arc that literally reset back to where it was. I don't know. It's just like that. That was just really weird as well.
yeah. Actually, has she ever thought of, hey, wait, you're actually the son of a person who's I'm a big fan of. Wait, why don't you just join me and we'll be sex therapists together, like in episode one? That's literally the most.
Which yeah, it's like that did kind of happen. It's like Otis, I guess he just wanted to be the guy, the one. But it's like
Yeah,
he's not really making a good case as to why that should be the case. And
yeah,
that's,
and
I mean, it's just a forced conflict.
and she never
Really?
actually, and she never just like wait, what? And she never suggests that idea.
Yeah. It's just I just find it really weird.
And also, yeah, we have to break down the backstory. Fuck me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so she blames Ruby because she's a sexual and and she doesn't want she wants to be popular. It's like I don't even know how that works on it. It's just, because she's asexual, that's why she just accused bully Ruby to hide herself. She's asexual. To be honest, that already doesn't add up.
Hmm.
Afterwards, she was like, I want to be popular now. That's why I keep bullied. And all because I'm hiding who I am. That's why I become a sex therapist. Which also doesn't add up because you're like what, a few years old? How are you giving so much sex advice to people? I mean,
Yeah, it's not like in the Otis sense either. Like Otis is giving like advice to kids, but it's like it's not like. And yeah, he was being monetized before, and that was wrong. And Gene told him why that's wrong. Then he eventually stopped doing that, and then doing it like with non-payment and stuff like that. But then O does it, but she takes it to the internet. Like she makes videos, and they're popular, and they actually get some traction and success, and like people actually listen to that kind of thing. It's like the difference with like O and what Otis did in previous seasons is like one is like more wide stream, like her therapy basically, and like one can actually go to the internet and people can actually like you know see that, take her advice and take it seriously and anything like that. And she's not a right like a licensed sex therapist. Just like I don't know. I just find that unethical. Like even more so because like I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's like when you go on YouTube and you just make a video about giving sex therapy advice. It's like that's cool and all, but then like it's kind of giving the false notion like as to you're not Gene Milburn, for example. So it's like I don't know
and
why it's being treated like they're the same.
and you're not even legal age. You're not even legal drinking age.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
always just always
Oh,
definitely like a very weird character, and it is she does get the most backlash, which frankly I don't out of the new characters, and I don't think it's really fair per se, because like I do feel like the other new characters are just kind of worse in my opinion.
yeah, she just got the most
That leads us
attention.
to our next three new characters.
Oh my
Um,
god.
so Aisha, Abby, and Roman, um, all of them just have one personality trait, and that's it, really.
And
Um,
wasn't even a good one.
Aisha is deaf, and she's non-monogamous. Abby is Abby's positive. So like Abby's weird. So like Abby has like this thing like where she wants like people to stay positive and not gossip. And then in the final episode, we learned that the reason why she does it is because she fears rejection, which is like really weird. Because like the entire season, you have like Roman talking about how he wants to fuck Abby. Um, and I don't know, like for some reason, I don't know where the rejection is coming from.
Yeah, to be honest, it just makes her look like a horrible person. I was like, yeah, everyone is allowed to talk secrets about other people.
Yeah, and then like Roman, all he does is like he wants to have sex with Abby, complains about that, it's not happening, and then uh, I guess like the only thing that he really says is like he finds straight people boring. Which I mean, I guess like if that's your opinion, that's fine. But like I really like I don't want to sound like there's nothing. Like again, I understand like you have like the
Uh,
transgender characters and the deaf characters and all that stuff, and it's really good to have representation. But like the problem is like there really is nothing to them.
yeah, I mean, there's something to them, which is absolutely horrible shit. So they are supposed to be nice people, right?
There's that's what it's described. Yeah.
Do you remember the episode where they hang out with Eric?
Yeah.
they give him drugs
They
in
gave him
public.
drugs. They're basically kind of like, suggesting him to not meet up with Otis anymore, or like, at least limit him out. Which not everybody was saying like, you don't have to do that. But it's like, well, other I think Roman is like more like, you just don't hang out with Otis, and that that idea puts into Eric's head and all that stuff. Which my whole thing with Eric will come soon, I promise.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, really, there's nothing really here with these three.
yeah.
Uh, they're just
What
like there's like there's like nothing like when you compare to like Anwar, Olivia, and uh, Ruby in the other three seasons, which
is a fucking
is
shit.
basically what they're replacing as.
And what little they have is contradicted.
Yeah,
Fun.
yeah, yeah. So that leads us to Isaac. Um, Isaac Isaac is another weird character for me because like obviously like with season two you had the way it ended with him. Not like I mean before Isaac used to be like a dick to Maeve and all that stuff, but then again like he kind of like just liked Maeve in the sense like she knows like a lot of the things that he's went through, especially like the concept of being alone as an orphan or things like that. Before obviously he found out that her mom is like actually in her life, but obviously he still had feelings for Maeve and all that. Um, and the way season two ended, it was horrible. Like, Maeve goes to his trailer. She he asked like to get milk. She puts her phone on his table and then just decides to leave. And yeah, so she left the trailer to get the milk, and she forgot her phone. Yes, the teenager forgets her phone in someone else's location. Okay, and then apparently she just so happened to miss Otis, who was trying to go to her trailer. So then Otis is spotted by Isaac. Isaac, tells tells him like, yeah, I sent Emma, I mean, I mean, Maeve out to get something, and it's like, all right, can you tell her that I want to talk to her, and also tell her to check her phone. It's like, okay, dude, like just a few days ago, you had a drunk rant about how Maeve might be with Isaac just to mess with him. So it's like, why are you telling this guy, of all the guys, to specify what he wants and also to check her phone? That's just like really weird. Um, and then not only that, Isaac now told that, Otis, his threat to Maeve, is has a message for her on her phone that he has access to right now. And fortunately enough, Maeve's phone is unlocked. How fucking lucky! And
Yeah.
she just gets to listen to that audio, listen to that segment about like how he loves Maeve. Because again, the show makes a very big deal. The only person Otis has ever said "I love you" to is only towards Maeve, and yeah, so he deletes the message, and then that's how it ends. And it's like it's a decent ending, cliffhanger ending, obviously for the whole Modus thing. But my problem with it is like it is so contrived how all of these aspects happen to the point where you have to rely that Maeve just doesn't remember her phone when she just put it down, and then Otis just decides to tell his enemy basically that to check her messages on her phone, um, and all that stuff. So yeah, that was really stupid. And then season three, obviously, it just like he immediately just like tells Maeve that yeah, I deleted a message where Otis told you that
And
he had feelings for you. Yeah, it's like
uh And
It
then
happened like immediately.
Maeve is of course mad, and then after even like not even like a few episodes later, just like no, I'm just gonna fuck you. Why?
Yeah. Isaac. Now Isaac has some, you know, more has more sympathetic scenes later down the line, and obviously, like, I don't. So I have seen people say like, "Oh, Maeve and Isaac just work well together," because like I know like a lot of people just say that point so they can just like take away like, you just don't want to see Maeve and Otis together. You just want Maeve and Otis to be together, so that's why you don't want her to be with Isaac. Isaac still lied to her about all this stuff, which again I understand they're all young, and that happens. But like you're at a point where like I don't I don't I don't buy Maeve would forgive him like that, and it's like. But then again, to be fair to the actor, and he does such an amazing job, like selling the scene. Is like, I don't want to lose you, because like I know it's like a really big mistake, and I really shouldn't have done that, and like I just don't want to lose this thing that we had, and all that stuff. And he does such an amazing job selling that. And obviously, I do understand where her forgiveness could happen. It's just like I just get so bothered because like if Otis did that, like season one, season two, any season Otis, like if Otis was the one who did that, she would crucify uh, Otis more than she did with Isaac, and that's kind of like where I go. It's like with Maeve, which again we'll go more in depth with
Yeah.
her character. Maeve has a lot of double standards, I'd say.
Yep. And we haven't even touched season 4 of Isaac yet. Holy shit.
And why don't you talk about season four, Isaac?
So this is the entire thing for Isaac for season 4. I can't walk, and no one fixed the elevator. Finally, someone fixed the elevator.
Yeah, and then apparently he wants to fuck Amy. So
Yeah, I got no idea. It's like 3 episodes in. It's like in episode 1 and 2 is just how much they hate each other. And then one scene later, yeah, we ought to fuck each other. Great.
yeah, it's like with Amy, it's like I mean, we'll get to Amy too, but like
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of get it too. It's like Isaac and Amy, the ex boyfriend and the best friend of Maeve. It's like I guess it just seems like we needed a relationship to happen, and we just had to use the actors that we had left because we couldn't get Steve back or something, or I don't know.
Yeah. And then that is just like one thing.
Yeah,
Do you know the entire resolution of the elevator arc? He blocked all the stairways of the school somehow.
yeah, yeah.
At the day of the exam.
He must be Professor X or something with the whole
I mean,
control with his mind or something.
I how even if he has Professor X powers, wouldn't someone hear it or notice it or just like some things disappeared?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god! And then it's like this problem is so ridiculous. He cut. First off, is there only one lift in the entire school?
That's another thing as well.
Yeah. And then so it's like okay, this is the same lift because they have to contrive to just get Amy and Isaac together for like several episodes. They just don't happen to meet each other a lot in this very same elevator. And
Yeah,
and then it's like, and so this is his action: block every way in a day of the exam. First off, this is an extremely shit thing to do to every single people, to make a point.
yeah. And then like my other thing is like they also just connect with each other just because they like art. Like, is that really the only reason why they were both in the same art class? And then, I mean, I guess like they both know Maeve, so I guess that's another connection. I guess, but like I don't know. Like it was just like it made it even lazier. Like in terms of like how do we get these two people together?
Yeah,
Because I don't know. Like I don't think earlier season Maeve was like that interested into artwork. So
yeah, and then do you remember that Isaac's in a relationship with Amy for how fucking rush it is? It's there.
yeah,
And then it's
It's
like,
there.
why didn't he tell Amy about this? Hey, I can't walk, no elevator, do it. It's like, so just tell her, and she will help you complain to the office.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's I it's not
yeah,
really much to say, but like that leads us to actually leads us to our next person, Amy.
Amy.
And
Okay, she's
it,
not too bad compared to other, I guess.
the thing about Amy is like obviously like she's more the dumb blonde kind of character. So like for me, it's kind of a hard to judge her in like at least like completely. Because like a lot of the stuff is like kind of just depends on like how much does she know, how much does she not know, and then like um, I think my only thing about earlier seasons is like you have Amy get sexually assaulted on the bus, and I'm not saying that it's not what happened and all that stuff. I think my only issue with it in general is like she didn't one she thought it was like not that bad like in terms of the concept of it
Yeah,
happening. Which again, I know like I understand like there are some sexual abuses like where you sexual assaults is like where it happens and like you probably don't think about it, but then you realize like it was actually a really big deal moving like down the line. The thing is like it is a little odd because like with Amy, it's like she's kind of a ditz in a sense, but like in a likable way. But like
yeah,
in the sense like she doesn't really understand how bad this was until the cops and Amy, I mean Maeve told her that how bad it was, and then obviously it leads into more of the whole sexual assault traumas, and then to the point where she doesn't want it. She doesn't even want her boyfriend to like touch her at all. Um, for 2 seasons, and it's like I understand where it was coming from, but my only issue with it was just like it did like it did confuse me like as to like where she was coming from, at least from when it started. But like obviously, like if you just go past that, it's like she does go through it like really well. Like I really liked her scenes with like with Jean, like talking about the whole therapy thing in season 3. Um, the part that I don't like has to do with Maeve, but um,
we'll get to that.
I'll get to that. I
Yeah,
think what I'll highlight now is like there are some things like with Amy. It's like you know what Amy is as a person. You know what she is as a friend. You know what she is as a as somebody who is not probably not as smart as you. So it's like I think there is a line that gets crossed like when you start to use some points against her just because she said something that hurt your feelings. So that's kind of like if you if you know season 3, you'd probably know what I'm talking about. But we'll expand more on that in the Maeve section. But that's really my whole thing with Amy in seasons 1 to 3. It's like she's fine. There's nothing really wrong with her. It's just like it's not really much going on, and I think that's okay as well. Um,
yeah.
so what
So,
so what do you think about season 4, Amy?
well, come. She's one of the least damaged characters in the entire cast. Doesn't mean she's not fucked as well. Okay, so let's see. We go through the how Russia relationship with Isaac is. Yeah.
Yeah,
So and then actually and then episode 4 we it's actually there's nothing really wrong with that. Actually I actually kind of like the scene that she has with Otis about sex,
yeah,
giving
yeah,
advice to
Sam.
how to talk to Maeve about it. It's like about the Isaac situation. Yeah, that actually felt natural for once.
Yeah, yeah.
My
And I
it's
do I do I do respect that like, you
yeah,
know, they she didn't just like immediately date Isaac or like immediately kiss him or do sex with him or anything. Like she did take the time to like consider, let me hear what Otis has to say about it. Which it was by accident, of course, but like I don't really that's kind of understandable.
yeah,
Uh but like but like I give her props like that she at least went to ask Maeve after getting advice from Otis about is this like something that you would like or not, and like if it doesn't happen, I'm cool with that. Um, and yeah, Maeve lets her know like, yeah, that's not something that I would like just to happen. It's like, you know, I respect Amy for taking the steps, for treating that at least maturely as a something as a props.
Yeah, so that goes for all the positives. Now let's talk all the negatives. Okay, so she's in a relationship with Isaac. Somehow, okay, we know Isaac didn't tell her. Somehow, she doesn't know that Isaac can't go to classes.
Hmm.
Yay. Remember they are, I mean, yeah, they go to the same school, and Isaac apparently never goes to classes. And she just somehow doesn't know that. My God. And then there's like there and then there's the sexual assault scene, quote unquote, in this episode. In season two is up is it's really natural. Someone wank at her. I mean, it's so stupid. Like it's fucking porn. It's coming from a porn video. This concept, but it's clear as sexual assault. This time, it's some construction workers just tell her, "Hey, want to smile? Can you give us a smile?" That's sexual abuse. That's that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty normal because I hear that every time and single day in UK. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and then she's like, "Well, fuck you, fuck you. I just got to a funeral. Of course, I'm not gonna smile. And um, you guys are sexually abusing me."
There's a lot to say about the funeral, as we had a commenter say. Um, we'll talk about the funeral in a bit.
Yeah, and
That was pretty
also,
goofy.
yeah, also Skits. Hello, I'm here. If you're listening.
Yeah, yeah. Ice
Well,
Kids.
yeah. Also, 13 Reasons Why. Well, I only seen like 2 seasons of it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I got the book though. The book is so much. It's better, and
Hmm.
it's completely different than the show. Just saying.
Interesting.
Yep. And that's yeah. So yeah. So that's her entire arc. So So she spends the rest of the other episodes just like, oh no, I got sexual abused. Fuck those people.
How do you think about her ending?
I I I don't even remember. She just the ending is just like, yeah, I finally fuck Isaac. That's it. That's the ending.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean she did the. Yeah, she sent off Maeve. I guess that's nice. I mean she actually called people out to her funeral. That's also nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know why doesn't she call Camille or her other friends, you know?
Right. Contracts.
Yeah, just pretend they don't exist.
All right. That takes us to Gene. Um. Here's my thing about Gene. Gene is okay, but like in a sense, like um, you know,
Yeah,
obviously she's the knowledgeable character and all that stuff, and like obviously this season, I I will be frank. Season three with the baby was a horrible idea. It was one, it sidelined her for like the season. Then this whole thing with like Jakob and all that stuff just happens, and like apparently he's not even the dad. So that entire paternity stuff and that thing just like happens and goes away. Which again, I understand that happens, where the woman thinks that that's the father, but it's not actually the father and all this stuff. I understand that's like realistic and all that. It's just like my whole thing with Gene is like it just doesn't really. It's like it didn't go anywhere for her. Um, and then like not just that, it's like then like in season four, like obviously she's dealing with like post divorce, you know,
yeah, yeah,
depression, all that stuff. Also dealing with a baby and trying to make a podcast that isn't going as well as she hoped. Um, like she's really busy, but it's like it's not that much either. Um,
Yeah, it's I don't even know what to think. It's like the entire thing is just, she can't take care of the baby somehow. You can just call Ola or something. Eh? Eh,
yeah,
yeah, contracts.
contracts.
So they call her sister.
Call the sister for this season, and
Yeah, we'll get to that.
that's the
Yeah.
next character. But anything else you want to say about Jean?
To be honest, there's actually not much to say. I mean, it's like the only thing that I like the scene with her with Maeve, giving her advice. I mean, I mean, to be honest, her character there is actually quite nice. I mean, I have issues with how Maeve is portraying that scene, but we'll get to that. We'll
Yeah,
get
I think I think that was their only interaction as well, which Emma
Yeah,
Mackey mentioned in a in an interview before. It's like I always wanted to work with Gillian Anderson on the show, and like for some reason, like they just never had me do that.
yeah,
From seasons 1 to 3, and I wasn't sure why. And it's like with season 3, there was the hospital scene when obviously after uh, Jean gives birth and all that, and she starts to hemorrhage and like is dying. Uh, Maeve should have been there. Um,
yeah,
Maeve should have been there, and but again, we'll get to that. Get to
yeah,
that later.
yeah. I really don't have much to say about this character, about her. I mean, she's fine.
Yeah,
She's fine. To be honest, the thing is, I got no idea how she resolved her entire thing at the end. It's like, hey, I don't need a co-host. I want to bring a baby here, whatever reason. I was like, yeah. Then the other person's just like, okay, yeah, sure. I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
it's so stupid. Always there's your co-host, but they literally said, you bring the fuse up. She brings the fuse up. So
mm,
you're basically not really that good. And it's like, and then when you step in, just like, okay, can I do this, this, and this? It's like, there's no way the person was just like, yeah, okay.
yeah, yeah. Again, like again with Jean, it's like I don't necessarily have an issue with her. Like as a character, like obviously she's the sex therapist, so that kind of like brings you back to the theme of the show. It's like it involves around sex and like how to deal with that. Um, Also like talking with other people about sex and things like that. So obviously that shows like Otis's connection to her and like how he finds a similar passion for being a therapist and all that stuff moving forward. So I mean, yeah, it's like it is a clear like gateway to help like guide the theme of the show or like a central aspect that will be explored for the rest of the series. Um, with her being the sex therapist character and all that stuff, and also the mother of our main character. So it's like obviously like you kind of have that in a sense, like it's like what you expect
Yeah.
out of her. So that's that's most I can say about Jean. Gillian Anderson was really good though. Uh,
Yeah, I
uh,
mean, I wish she was not wasted here. Just like, to be honest, everything about her in the show is just kind of really subplot.
yeah,
I've nothing to really say.
yeah, and that leads us to her sister, Joanna.
New character this season, never mentioned before.
Yeah, and we kind of get why. I guess Jean just really doesn't like her.
Yeah, I mean, they have a backstory because I don't know, it's because
So
she
Joanna is a weird character in general. It's like Joanna is like she's like super goofy for like the entire season. Like
yeah
she's literally farting on her sister's head, like here and there. So yeah, it's
um,
like I don't know what to get from her in that sense. And then like all of a sudden, like I don't know, like in the last episode, like
you just flip character.
it's like a different character entirely.
It's like, hey, Otis is like, hey, you are the problem of Maeve goes away. I hate you. And then she's like, and then like, yeah, her
And then
sister's
she's
like,
talking about like how she deals with abuse from her loved ones and all this
and then
stuff. Like
also defend her sister was like, dude, every single time beforehand, you literally fucking hate her.
Yeah, it's like again, it's like when you see her like interacting with other characters, like she's supposed to be the comic relief, like that's what it looks like. But then like then all of a sudden she starts dumping in a sense,
Yeah.
uh, about her previous abuse. Like she's crying on the phone and all that stuff, which again is
Oh.
just it just comes out of nowhere.
And also, by the way, do you remember what her actual motive for coming here to take care of the baby? Oh my god.
What was it?
She wants her to pay all her debts.
Pay off the debts.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then she's like, so she, she's a person who's apparently desperate, but she doesn't know, just like, she doesn't know to just be, pleasing to her sister. And then only at
Hmm.
the end it was like, hey, by the way, I have so much debts. Can you pay it for me? Came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Joanna's just like I will say like Joanna's more entertaining, I guess, than the other new characters, but like it's not really saying much either.
Yeah. I mean,
Like like that's all I can really say about her. It's
I
like
mean,
she's not boring. I'll give her that.
I mean, the only other thing I can say is she's basically she's also a pit stop for Maeve and Otis. They just coincidentally meet her in the cinema.
Yeah, yeah. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yep. Next.
All right, that leads us to her brother, Sean Wiley.
Yeah, we only.
This picture is from season 1. I couldn't find a season 4 picture.
Yeah, she just appeared in season 4 for like 2 to 3 episodes. Jesus.
Yeah, so I mean, we never really got much from Sean in general. Like we know, like he's always like going off the map and all that stuff with the drug dealing and things of that nature.
But
And you know,
but he still cares about her sister. That's
yeah,
one thing. Yeah, and I mean she leaves him. I mean he leaves her at the end for season 1, but it's to be honest,
I
it's
don't.
not.
Do you remember like in season 4? Do they ever address like how Maeve got suspended because of him?
I don't. It's like,
I don't think so.
yeah, it's like it's just like hey, I'm back.
Yeah,
For
and it's
one,
like yeah,
how do you contact him?
yeah, that's
My
one.
God. I mean, if you can contact him, he should be arrested ages ago.
Yeah, no, my other thing is like season 1, he showed up to her place like out of the blue because like he clearly did not want to be called and things of that nature. But like in season 4, he's calling her to come to America uh
Her
because
mom,
yeah
the mom died.
we can explain that
Jesus.
now because I don't have a slide for her because she wasn't in this season because the
Just
mother just died off screen from a heroin overdose. So
yeah, and also remember Elsie is completely forgotten in the entire season. By the way,
I think she was only there for one moment, and that was just when Maeve comes home. That's it. She wasn't even at the funeral.
somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Amy also forgot to call her, or Maeve just don't know what, just didn't call her. Just
Yeah. That
so
that was dumb. And like I guess like the whole thing with but the thing is like with Sean is like Sean never came back within season 2 and 3. So it's like you don't really have that moment where they can actually talk about, that yeah, I almost got expelled because of you. But it's like to be fair, she was at a point where she got into America, so it's like I guess it's like what's the point of mentioning that now? It's like she's already in America. Um, but it is just something like to consider.
yeah, yeah. To be honest, I don't know because he's like in what 2 or 3 episodes, and she's actually a completely different character in those episodes. Holy shit! In this season,
Yeah. So, um, as we said, he calls Maeve back to come to back to the UK's because of the mom passing away, and obviously he wasn't taking it well. Learning that she died and all that. Um, what else did you
Okay.
want to say about Sean?
Okay, so yeah, the funeral talk. Let's. Oh my god.
Yeah,
So apparently he hates her mom so much. He just like he goes to the funeral, just like fucking yelled at her. Which, for one, why did you came back if you hate her that much?
and then like obviously Maeve had to damage control with her own
Yeah,
speech, even though she didn't say some nice things too about the mom. It's like I understand why that happened, but
yeah, and and then this is completely out of the blue. In that episode, he just never just cursed her mom. Just like, oh, thank fuck she's died. She's actually really nice at, and then just like, she actually really caring at Maeve and just like, hey, just tell Amy and Otis I will be back soon. And then he actually did it. I mean, he sells drugs, but he still have like he still cares about her. That's one thing. And and apparently now he hates her mom's guts. So funeral, and so that actually contradicts a lot when it comes to this episode.
right.
Yeah, just she just came back for no, and then just apparently he just doesn't like wants to, and then
Yeah,
and then in that episode when he's supposed to really cares about Maeve, so when Maeve's just like, okay, stop it, and it's like, no, I'm gonna continue.
yeah. I think my thing about Sean is like because I know the actor who played Sean, he really wanted to return, but like it never really made sense for him to come back.
Yeah,
Um, Obviously because like they shifted the focus to um, the mother and Elsie, so they just never really found the time to bring him back. And then season 4 was like the only opportunity left since that was the last season.
yeah. I mean,
And
and then
then, but for some reason, the mother can't be alive either, so
it's
kill her
actually
off
really
by heroin.
somehow. I mean, to be honest, I don't even know what even happened. Just out of it's another out of the blue. It's just of course Sean just left her after the funeral. It's like without like saying, okay, I'm sorry. She actually still cares about her sister despite she's doing all the drugs. It's like, I'm sorry. I know my mom is an asshole, but just I didn't mean to hurt you. Now it's like, oh, you still like your mom. Bye.
Hmm. Yeah, it's
I
just
mean, she doesn't really have much, but they still destroy him. My God.
yeah. So that's Sean. Now we have the Groffs, which I think the both of us agree that they are the best characters
Yeah, easily.
for the rest of the show.
Hey, Styles. Oh, yeah. We're just talking about the best part of the entire show now.
Yeah, which is
Not the show, the season, but
I'm pretty good, Sai. How are you doing?
yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah. The Groffs, the story's just simple, which, to be fair, that's all they really needed, to be honest. Adam is, going to a farm for an apprenticeship, because he doesn't really
Yeah,
want to go back to school, so he just wants to take care of
yeah,
animals. Now, he had a misunderstanding as to what animals he had to take care of, but
but yeah, that's not his problem. But
that's not really his problem. And Mr. Groff, he's dealing with like one reconnecting with his son again, trying to be more present as a dad,
yeah,
and also like trying to rekindle his relationship with his old wife Maureen. Yeah, nothing really complicated. But the thing is, like, that's
that
really all you
that's
needed
actually good.
to be good.
Yeah, he just learning in the. I mean, Adam is just learning in the farm, just like, oh my God, man, I really just don't get me fired. I'm really trying to be good. I'm just trying to redeem myself.
Yeah, and we can talk a little bit more about Adam and Groff a little bit more from the previous seasons as well, because like obviously season 4 did not really do that much with them, but they're still like good enough to where like that's where they're good for the rest of the show. But like season 1 through 3, it's like Adam Adam was a strange character for me. Like starting off, because like obviously like you have like he's the son of the headmaster, which is his dad
Yeah,
here, and he has the pressure of like trying to be like good enough, like his sister was, which they mentioned his sister once, but she never shows up in the show ever. So
yeah,
that was kind of weird. But you have that kind of pressure. I mean, he's obviously like your jock character,
yeah,
um, the jock bully character. So it's like that was kind of like his distinction. But then like obviously he kind of goes through like an identity crisis um, during the course of the show, and obviously he has like he gets into a relationship with Amy, and then eventually with Eric, who he was bullying for many years until he
because
finally
yeah,
came out as a bisexual.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and honestly, like his dynamic with Eric and even Raheem in season 3 were pretty solid. You kind of get where Adam's coming from. Like he's never been like a talkative person. He's never been a guy who wants to like share his feelings or like wants to
yeah,
really express himself. He doesn't like whenever he wants to talk to somebody, he has to look up or has to turn his back around just to say what he wants to say because he doesn't like how people judge him. Um,
yeah. I
and
mean,
he's like trying to do well in school as well, even if it's not working out. Um,
yeah,
Now there's a lot of things with Eric that I don't like with how he treats Adam, but we'll save that. We're almost there.
yeah. Don't worry. And but it's like Adam is yeah. Those two characters are just actually really good in season 4, surprisingly, because
Yeah.
it's how disconnected to it.
It's disconnected to the rest of the show.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
like
like
yeah.
the only connection you see is Eric meets him in like the last 5 minutes, I think, or but like
Uh,
that's it.
I mean, also the funeral. Yeah,
Oh,
Adam is in the funeral.
and the
Yeah,
funeral, right.
yeah. I don't
But it was
really
like
want.
not really much.
Yeah, I mean, it
Um,
just you don't have to do this to yourself. You still can find happiness. Actually, quite nice. Yeah, it's like because beforehand the entire show is actually beating Adam down, and then now he's just doing this to hopefully regain himself. Just like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm just making up for what he did, but he can't touch them. He can't touch the other characters. So he's trying to make up with his dad, and then of course he makes mistakes like he doesn't know how to use the truck, and then he keeps apologizing, just like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm trying to do better. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
and then because he's actually quite now humble, just like trying to do his best, and he got the girl at the end, which he actually likes.
yeah, and it's like that's true. And like with Mr. Groff, like I mean, obviously you have the whole headmaster thing. He had a scary presence in the earlier seasons, and obviously like he becomes more opinionated and more like it is kind of weird that like we're focusing so much on sex for an academic institution, which frankly I do get where he's coming from because like again like I never really understood like uh this whole fascination that in the entire school cares about sex like that. It's like I don't know if that's
It
I
opens
don't know
sex
if
as
I
well.
really buy that, but
Yeah, to be honest, like the world building is this show. It's just weird. Just characters can just have open sex.
it's like it feels like the school is actually about sex, and it's like I hope it's not. It's a school.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
it's a
to
school
be
for high
honest,
school kids. So I was like,
don't
I don't
worry.
really
There's
understand.
something to talk about in Maeve's stuff in Maeve's American School about that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
So that's kind of like what he goes through, and then season 2 he gets publicly shamed after the whole play situation. How he called out uh, Gene in front of the audience and all that stuff. Then he gets fired. He gets divorced as well, and then his
yeah.
life just kind of crumbles at that point. He's trying to regain his confidence and like trying to regain his position in power. Can't really do that anymore. He has he's an older brother, played by Jason Isaacs, who's always like picking on him.
Yeah,
Which is
because
like you never
yeah,
you don't really see Jason Isaacs do like a lot of comedic roles, so it was really
yeah,
funny.
yeah. Also, he's Jason Isaac. Of course, he's gonna be better than you.
Yeah, that's also true. And then like he does eventually stand up to his brother, and, and and such, and like he gets some more confidence. Like the thing is, like it's interesting because like he has a lot more in common with Adam than he thought.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
without
especially
this,
when you break down his like headmaster superiority, he's like he is more like Adam than he thinks.
yeah. So it's actually quite subtle. You just didn't pick. They don't have to have.
They don't have him say they don't have Adam saying that or like Maureen saying that or anything. Like
Yeah, just
he
and
just
also
like realizes that on his own.
and just like Adam, the show is also beating him down, and now he just redemption, just like okay, I just want to reconnect with his son and with his former wife. No,
And like
it's
trying to be
yeah,
a substitute teacher at school, like at
yeah,
this new school, like just trying to do something
yeah.
different
I
than
mean,
what I was used to before.
yeah. And then of course at first there are bumps along the way. They still argue, but but you can still see that okay, they still care about each other. It's like okay, I'll allow you to give you driving lessons to me,
Yeah, the driving lessons as well.
and we still have picnic together. It's like it's actually quite it's nice. It actually has a progression at the end. I mean, of course that he found out they're still fucking each other at the end, but fucking, but like his dad is not fucking his wife now. But and then he just at the end he accepts. Adam accepts that. It's like yeah, it's a nice arc for both of them.
Yeah, I mean it does end with like all of them watching TV, which is like it's
It's not
not a quite extravagant ending, but it's all right. It's you know just a bunch of people watching TV that
yeah
do what you do.
the only parts of the
But
show
it's
actually
the good thing is like they're all connected more as like a family
uh,
unit. So
yeah yeah to be honest the only part of the entire season actually felt something except
yeah,
for frustration, anger, disappointment, and just want to just ask what the fuck are you thinking?
yeah. Um, yeah. So those are the Groffs. Like for us, again, these two are the best characters for us. Um, we had a new addition as well, Jem.
Jam,
Not much to say, but like Adam's
yeah,
coworker, who's now
in
his new girlfriend.
yeah. I mean, the best new character this season. Wasn't saying much, but it's there.
Yeah, yeah.
I
And
mean,
again, I think a lot of it benefits like it's not at school. I think a lot of the problems was like putting it at school, doing the school dramas and things like that nature. It's like this is like where everybody feels like adults.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
it's like, and without so many edgy shit. It's like, hey, we're just talking about it, and just I mean, she's his boss. And she's actually a nice boss. It's like, hey, I don't know how to ride a horse. Actually, this is actually her problem. She didn't specify that you're supposed to take care of horses.
yeah, it's like on the flyer. It's just like it's a kennel, but like they don't specify it's a horse kennel. It's because like Adam came in like thinking it was a dog kennel or something like that. So it's an understandable mistake, but it's like it's your flyer. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know
mean,
why you wouldn't specify that.
yeah, I just
But that's like the only issue though.
yeah, that's
Outside of
you know,
that, like it's they have a really nice moment where they teach it where she
yeah,
teaches Adam how to ride a horse.
yeah, and then it's like,
Um,
I mean, he doesn't fire him, even though he's like, oh, you're not qualified,
you're
but
clearly not qualified.
I'm gonna
Because
teach
like
you.
yeah, and she
Yeah,
said like she kind of understands because like earlier before like her I think her she was supposed to go to university and all that, but like she had to help her father and like
yeah,
and that kind of took over her life of where she could have been better. But
mm,
then she eventually liked the job and like
yeah. It's like
got that.
yeah. I mean, Adam makes mistakes, and she's just like, okay, okay, don't worry, we understand that. It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's like generally a nice person, and who just wants the guy to be good.
right.
And then at the end, just like, yeah, I will date you, which is like, yeah, open accepts it without hiding
Yeah,
who
and
she
like
is.
another good thing also, hey operation. It's nice to see you.
Yeah, nice.
Um, yeah,
Hey, off.
Another thing about Gem is like like obviously it took a while for Adam to like reveal that he's bisexual and all that stuff, and like then she like thanks him for like being honest to her and like letting her know,
Yeah, yeah.
and like
So
she understood like that's like that wasn't easy.
yeah, connection. Also, the dad stuff he shares with her.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
uh, I
that's
mean,
true.
I mean, he just, he just, I mean, Adam wants to help her, and then, I mean, he fucks up, but he's like, yeah, it's fine, but don't do that again, or else I'll
Right.
really fire you. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So
So
so Jem was our best new character, and that's
all the positives.
yeah,
That's basically all the positives.
yeah. That was
So
so now that leads us to our three main characters.
the worst part of the entire show, sorry, season. Don't you
Yeah.
worry.
So here was my thing.
And so
Um,
the
Eric,
15th Doctor,
the 15th
50.
Doctor.
Don't
Eric,
worry, he has a. I mean, I'll okay. First
go ahead,
starters,
go ahead.
I love Doctor Who. I'm very interested in seeing him how he will play the 15th Doctor. I'll never take that away.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
you, I hope he has better treatment in that show because right now, my God.
Yeah, so I guess like here I will preface this. Eric was my favorite character in season one. Um, season two, Maeve took the lead, but yeah, but season one, like Eric was definitely like in my top two as favorite characters. And I always found Eric interesting in terms of like he doesn't care what other people think, even though obviously as a gay man and all that stuff, and how all these stigmas and stereotypes that kind of has to go through every day, he still is open about himself, but he's also like a very caring friend. He's able to do things like uh, he, he he tries to be there for his friends as best as he can, and like and yeah, and he's always been like a good emotional support for uh you know Otis, and especially since they've been friends since they were 9 years old. And yeah, the thing is
Yeah.
like I'll start small in terms of my problems, is like before I get to the bigger ones.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah. Yeah. Same. I'm very interested to how he will be played as the 15th Doctor, and also yeah, Russell T Davies return.
Right, right.
Yeah, we the goats series 1 to 4. He made the best stuff of the entire Doctor Who history.
Yeah. Um yeah, so like something small problem like that I'll give before I go to the bigger ones, like Eric and Otis, when you see the two of them like vibe together, or like when they like they used to like be really excited, like, or like they used to like do these things like where like you can tell like their chemistry is like what really carries over, like from season one to two, it's like you kind of get like you get a sense like, yeah, these two are really good friends, and like they'll tell each other anything, or they'll support each other for whatever they say. But it's like season three and four, you kind of distance Otis and Eric. Like it's like, I'm not saying they don't have scenes together, they do have scenes together, but the thing is like their dynamic is very different
Yeah.
moving forward. And I think it gets worse like in season three and four. It's because like season one and two, they used to do some dickish things to each other, like in terms of like the worst thing Otis did in season one is going to help Maeve. Obviously he was helping Maeve with the whole uh thing with Ruby about the vagina pics, but like then it's like it kind of go to a point where it's his birthday, he went out to see Hedwig, and you know he got his wallet stolen, he got beat up, uh he was bleeding and all that stuff. So it's like, and then like Otis, like he doesn't really understand what was the complaint about. That was, but the thing is, like with the earlier seasons, they used to punish like Otis and Eric, like whenever they do like something that's like selfish or like not, not right like that. But the thing is, like with season three and four, it's like Eric goes through like a lot of stuff without consequences, I'd say.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So you think you can transition from that?
Yeah. Yeah, he has one nice scene with Adam. That's the entire place. He gives advice. They move on. That's it. So now also let's go with the first thing. What's the
Yes.
thing? So he just abandons Otis for the entire season with the new friends.
Yeah, and the same people who told you to not be friends with him anymore because he's straight. Um,
Which is fucked.
which I mean, of course, he doesn't follow through with it, but he does. It does take him a while to realize that was a stupid advice. So
By the way, and in the next episode, he is like, he is like, he's fine with them just giving drugs to him. I couldn't.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh my
um,
god.
I think my worst things about Eric in season three, I think for a lot of other people as well, is like he just becomes like a cheater and like he justifies himself as a cheater. Now again, like I understand he's 16, 17 years old, but like the thing is like some of the things that he's doing. 1 second.
Oh, now I'm back.
Yeah, yeah. One thing I was saying is like Eric, he he at the end of season two, he does like he was in a relationship with Raheem, and obviously he was saying to Raheem with against Adam is like Raheem is more open about being gay and like accepting him for as a partner and like not caring what other people think. Whereas Adam is not a guy who does that, but then like Adam does like a very noble gesture where he runs on the stage and like holds his hand uh, in front of everybody, which is something that Adam would not normally do. So it's like, but then it's like with season three, it's like he's in a relationship with Adam, but then it's like he's at a point where like he gets upset with Adam that he's
Oh,
not fully
uh,
committing.
yeah. Yeah, I'm back.
He's
They
back. He's
you,
back.
you found me.
Yeah. So it's like he's fully committing to like Eric is like being very selfish in a sense like you understand that Adam is not at your level, Leah, in terms of accepting being gay. It's like again, you said like you were accepted you finally told your parents that you were like you were openly gay at the age of 13. So it's like I'm sure that took a while for that to happen, right? So it's like with Adam, it's like obviously he's never done this before, so he never had that kind of reaction. So it's like I felt it felt really bad like it was really bad when like Eric is like using things like, "Oh, you're just not matching me in terms of like how I want to take this relationship." And it's like Eric Eric is just like, and then like then he goes to Nigeria, and then he has a affair over there. Then he tells Adam about it, and like Adam obviously gets upset for obvious reasons. And then it's like, oh, it's like you, but his justification is like you weren't ready for me, and like in the sense that I wanted you to be. So it's like, dude, you're not being fair to the guy who clearly doesn't. It's like for what? Is it just because like his he hasn't told his mom that he's gay yet or like he's bisexual yet? It's like I don't understand like why that got to that point. And then season four, it's like we talked about like the whole thing with like Otis and that separation, especially with the coven. Um, what was the other things you wanted to mention about Eric?
Yeah. Actually, I haven't even scratched the surface of his entire issue yet.
Yeah,
It's so insane. So yeah, that's like two things. Just he just accepts taking drugs for no reason at all now. And
yeah,
then after taking drugs, next episode, he's supposed to go to the soup kitchen.
Hmm.
And then it's like, no, I can't. I mean, I know you're Shanahan, but I want to watch Jennifer's body with them. And then it's like, oh, and then he just, lies to them.
Yeah,
And he,
Eric is just like I think my
yeah.
problem, like I think my main problem with Eric in season 3 and 4, especially, is like he just like loses all accountability. Like he doesn't realize when he's wrong. He doesn't mention when he's wrong. He doesn't like have any kind of like accountability in terms of like that sort of aspect of the discussion. And then like as we hinted earlier, it's like the final like what like 3 episodes like just has him become an eye for God.
Literally. Remember the soup kitchen? I think
Yeah.
continue. The only reason he came back because apparently God pretends to be a homeless person and wants
Mm.
him to lead her to the soup kitchen. I can't. Oh my god.
It's like again, it's like the weird thing is like this season did a lot of like set like it so the way it ends is like they had Eric decide to be a pastor for his own services that would allow more queer people to be accepted in Christian faith, which again that is a fine arc and like that is a fine like ending for Eric's character. I think that makes sense in his character. The problem is that they introduced the concept of God,
Oh, no
like
way.
visions and like
Oh my.
he even has omniscient abilities, like in a sense like he sees the future, like he uses it to like find where Cal is like missing or something like that. And it's like this show is like this is like sex education, right? It's like I don't remember this
I
whole
don't.
concept of this being possible to happen
I
in this
mean,
universe.
it's like sex education. Just like, oh my god, we can do a Doctor Who. Let's just do it.
And it's like a Deus Ex Machina. It's like they would not have been able to find Cal without the the third eye, basically. So it's like
I,
hi, hi spaceman.
I.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I still have a lot of things to talk about this. This
Yeah.
is this
Go
character.
ahead, go ahead.
So remember the time is like remember like Maeve came back and her mom died, and so
Right.
that's why Otis abandoned everything, just goes there. Eric somehow doesn't go there.
Hmm.
Oh my god, and I know why he doesn't go there. It's because Eric has to go to school and meet Ruby and drop the bomb at her. It's like, hey, Maeve is back, by the way. My god.
And it's like
Yeah,
for what? Just to stir up drama with Ruby and Maeve
yeah,
and Otis.
and
All right,
and
buddy.
then yeah, and then there's the bicycle, going to get the flowers for the funeral.
Right.
So do you know what they argue? Instead of like taking this seriously, because May's brother doesn't make his promise, and they have to pick up the flower, and Otis, who has a broken neck, by the way, is the one
Yeah.
who holds the flower and riding it, and he complains, "You never care about me. I came out. You never care about it. I came out. I'm not straight." It's like, and then it's like you never cared. It's like,
So
what?
that's my problem with the later seasons of the show. It's like we get to a point where it's like these characters are just like saying the tropey soap opera stuff. It's
Yeah,
like before like season 1 was a lot smarter in the dialogue, or like first off, like Otis was always supportive of Eric. Like maybe he doesn't do everything, but like Otis is still like he puts a lot of time and effort with Eric and how different he is compared to him. And like he has no problem with that. He never once like has any criticisms. Obviously, he has a lot of like like clients in his for his sex therapy that like some of them are gay, and obviously he doesn't uh, empathize with them, but like he does have a general consensus of understanding of what to say. So it's like Otis is like not at a point where it's like where you could just like question like, oh, you just don't have any feelings about it. It's like I don't understand, man. It's just like where is this coming from? So
Yeah. What to say?
but
Yeah,
yeah,
but
it's like again, it's like him being a pastor for a a queer centric church. It's like that sounds like a very reasonable thing for him to do. It's just like why did he have to become
God,
the child of God?
I
Um,
don't know. I
it's
mean,
like
yeah,
it's like it becomes a dead sex machina. It it just happens, and it's like yeah, that's just how his arc ends.
yeah.
So it's
I
so
mean,
weird.
there's actually one thing. There's a abandoned plot line. Eric's family lost funds to soup kitchen. That goes nowhere.
Yes,
Yeah. So the plot line he has goes nowhere, and his character is ruined. It's not. He's completely an asshole. He's now like God's favorite person. Like, okay, oh my God. But yeah, seriously, I hope you get better treatment in Doctor Who.
please do.
Yeah.
And that leads us to our final two. That
Oh my
is
God.
the Modus group. And I have a lot to say about Maeve, so let's start with Otis first.
But let me make one thing clear.
Yes.
Maeve is my favorite character. Used to be my favorite character, and Otis used to be my second favorite character.
I never had Otis too high for me, but like I get
Yeah,
where people can come from.
yeah, but
Yeah.
those are always my personal top two for the show. Well, until now, and
And they
fuck,
fell off like a lot from season 3, but
I
yeah, obviously like with Otis and Maeve, it's like just to like generalize, like obviously they start off together just like as a kind of uh a systematic thing where Otis is very good at giving sex advice, and Maeve can use that to get money. And then you split the money, and then go their separate ways and do all that stuff. And that's sounds fine and dandy. And over the course of the show, like Otis has always had a crush on Maeve, and then kind of goes through and through, and then like eventually Maeve has feelings for Otis as well, and you know, then there's a lot of uh, you know bonding moments of the two. Like it's just like when you consider the earlier seasons, it's like they used to do a lot of like little things like as the two. It's like maybe they weren't like together yet, but like they used to do like a lot of these little things that would like um that would kind of add to the relationship. It's like they both didn't like to go to fairs or school dances, but they still went there. Um they were able to connect when Maeve made that essay for Adam, but like Otis knew for sure that was not Adam's script and it was Maeve's. And then he even steals the trophy for Maeve so that she can have it. He gives her the cardigan. Um, Otis also gives the diary where he rips out all of her birthdays because she apparently doesn't like knowing it's her birthday. Like Maeve calls him a dickhead. Uh, they both jump in the pool, fully clothed and all that stuff, and then yeah, so it's like there's like a lot of things here. It's like where uh, there's a lot of like chemistry with the two actors. I'd say like from season 1. It's like but like with season 2 to season 3, it's like season 2 still has things here. It's like obviously Maeve starts to have feelings, and then like but Otis has a girlfriend now with Ola, and that's not working out. And then obviously they get in a fight, and then they do try to do something again, but then Isaac conveniently found the phone that was given to him by Maeve herself to make it just prolong the Modus ship even more. And then it's like I do understand like when people say with the criticism, oh, it's like you don't like sex education because of because the two of them were not being together. I think it's a silly way to really reduce the problems of sex education, like overall, like as if like the only issue is because the two of them were not together. I don't know if how you felt about that.
I mean, to be honest, I mean, I'm fine with how they ended in season three. It's like, yeah, they leave, but they bring her back, but they bring them back.
Yeah. Um,
So, who do you want to break down first again?
Otis Otis is like my main thing about him is like Otis has usually been a dick in other seasons, so I wasn't really a fan of people who say like, oh, this is like season 3 and 4 is the only seasons where Otis is like an asshole. It's like no, Otis can be an asshole like whenever he gets praise and like things like that. But like the difference is like season 1 and 2, they you have moments where they praise him, but like he also gets punished for being for
Yeah.
letting the ego go to his head.
Also, he actually felt bad. Remember, like he tricked Jackson to like
Yes,
to do something Maeve doesn't like, and he just like, oh my god, I shouldn't have done that. And then
right.
also, and then the other thing is like he got drunk in season two. He's like just like no, 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 no. Just like, hey, I see some mean things. It's like, no, I didn't mean that.
Right.
Yeah, it's so two instance.
Yeah,
And
it's
yep.
yeah.
So let's say, do you know? Remember how episode one portrays him?
Yeah, just like your average geek kind of character, like, people are
Yeah,
doing things. I'm pretty far behind, but it's like it's not the worst thing in the world.
yeah,
It was like relatable in that sense. I mean, like I think he got for me it's like I think he got unrelatable by the time he got with Ruby.
yeah,
I think that's where he became silly to me.
yep,
Uh
yeah,
and it's like I know like that was also in season 2. I mean again, my what I said earlier in the stream is like one of the things I one of the things about season 1 is like Otis was like Otis's like main arc was like being able to just like do a hand job and like come in general. So it's like season 2 is like him losing his virginity. So it's like for the first time, but like um that just happens off screen in a drunken sex thing with Ruby. So
yeah.
it's like and it's just really weird. And again, like in that scene, like he also like criticizes Maeve as a person, like she's manipulating him and all that stuff. Uh, and obviously he's drunk, but like sometimes when you're drunk, you say more of the truth that you actually want to reveal. Um, so yeah, it's like, but like with season 3 and 4, again, like the biggest thing about uh Otis in those seasons is like he just okay. I'm not gonna say entirely for season 3. To be fair, like there are some mature moments in season 3 from Otis. I would say, uh, especially with Ruby and especially with Jakob. Like he actually started giving Jakob more of a chance. He started to actually, like he might be the dad. So it's like I should probably learn to accept that for the sake of the baby. So it's like, so he does try. Um, I also think his conversation with Lily was really good as well. The thing is like when Otis is like doing his therapy sessions, that's where he's at his best, or
Yeah,
in my opinion, but it's like when he has with Maeve, it's like he's always being so bit difficult on Maeve, and it's like I understand why because like in his point of view, the message was not read, and like she didn't say anything about the message, and it's like, all right, so you're just a cunt then. Like if you didn't even like let me know like about that, but then it's like I don't know, it's like I feel like with Maeve in general, it's like he's like immature to the point where like he can't have a real conversation with her. Um, yeah,
yeah, yeah. And so you know what? Let's just start with the positives of him in season four. Hey, that it's just a really short list. Don't worry.
sure, sure.
I remember the scene with Amy. Yeah, that's actually nice. He gives advice to him, which is actually reasonable, and they actually have a small bonding, and and he actually just drop everything and just like goes to Maeve. It's like because because her mother died and just like he just calls that he and Amy just like goes there help her stay with her the entire way. I mean, same as the funeral, he just everything he did is like, hey, I'll do what you do. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's all the positives. Now,
yeah. Another thing about season three that I found stupid is like when they did the whole coach bus thing and when they went to France and all that. For some reason, they left two students, Maeve and Otis, behind while they were going back to England. But then, conveniently enough, they both functional teenagers both forgot their cell phones on the bus.
and the
That's
teacher,
yeah, and the
and the
teachers didn't notice because apparently two hobos got on the bus, and
I
apparently
mean,
that counted on the attendance, so like they didn't think it was weird.
and none of their friends noticed that.
And none of their friends noticed from the afternoon till nighttime that Maeve was missing. And they didn't even know Otis was missing. They only figured that out
Jeez.
once they reached the destination.
Yeah, and then
Um,
also and it just so happens to be Otis and Maeve, just these two people.
yeah, yeah. And
Oh
then
my
like
god.
my other issue is like that was like their first kiss. Obviously it's manufactured, but it's like it was so boring as well. It's
And
like so much build up for like the for this thing to happen, and it just happens. I think the second kiss was much better. I think it was like I don't remember the context. It was like I remember the second kiss being better, and wishing that was the real kiss and not the one that happened at the gas station because it was so stupid. It came after like the poo scene, so it's like I don't know how you can save that, really.
I
So
mean, the only reason they have the kiss is because they need Ruby to just see it at that exact same time in that exact same angle. And I was like, oh my god, you are cheating on me.
yeah,
That's the entire reason.
and that whole thing with Ruby as well for Otis is like that just went poorly as well. And again, it's like it's not that I don't understand why, because like yeah, she said I love you, and it's like he didn't really feel the same way at that moment, and he's trying to say like maybe I might love you a little bit later. It's like maybe not now. It's like obviously you're not helping either. So, but
Yeah,
I do understand that for to a certain extent. So it's like I won't chastise him too much for that.
yeah, but
But like
this
I think how he handled Ruby post like season four and then like things like that, like that's where it's like
horrible.
pretty bad.
Everything he
Yeah.
just every single relationship he has is destroyed. I mean, aside from maybe his mom, I guess. I'm not sure. Or Amy really. So
Yeah.
season 4 episode 1, he was like, I'm gonna start my sex clinic. Good good question. Good stuff. One thing. You're not setting up yourself in a club. This is not a club. You have to sign up for it first. You have to make an announcement and just like, you know, people have to join it. That's how school works. A lot of paperwork.
Yeah. And then
And it's like and just to be honest, for all we know, he just either he just does it or just you
yeah,
know
and then like all of a sudden
he has a
he takes
pleasure.
all these dick pics for Maeve, which just to keep it
Uh,
on the down low,
uh,
Maeve, that was a very good picture that you gave. So I'll just
yeah,
say that. But yeah, it's like I don't know. He so he took a bunch of pictures. He was not in the mood. Like it wasn't really working for him. And then it's like just let's uh let's just leave
yeah,
it at that. But
yeah.
then it's like then we just gotta have that comedy scene.
But beforehand,
Yes.
he's absolute dick to for no reason. It's like because I'm the original. You has to be fake. It's like what the fuck? You didn't invent the concept of sex education. You took that from your mom,
Yeah.
and then it's like, and then she just mad. Oh, because at that exact moment, just have one person who got cancer. It's like, yeah, Otis came in. Bless you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So just and then that's how they bond. It's like, and then just like, and then that's and then it's like so the entire thing it just happens because Otis is a dick and they just contrively meet.
Yeah. You have that. And then So he does a presentation on why you should be the sex therapist in the school, and then
Uh,
there's like apparently Maeve didn't see the pictures that he sent, which to be
uh,
fair, those were horrible pictures. To be fair,
okay, and then
and yeah,
but
apparently his dick pics were flashed onto the for the whole school to see. Uh,
how does
so
okay,
that's when you knew like the season is like okay, so this is so one, the comedy has went down a lot,
yeah,
and two, it's like it
uh,
nothing was gained out of it either.
yeah, it's like, and it's like, oh, everyone's so nice about it.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like
I
not
just,
many
and
people really care. They just feel sorry about you,
to be honest,
but
after I
like
saw it,
he's not even that embarrassed by the end of it. So it's like
to be honest, when I saw it, I was like, okay, this season's gotta be fucked, isn't it?
yeah, so
Uh,
it's like
I haven't even,
so
I haven't got to
yeah
how did this even lead to it, like the presentation. Basically, in season one, he actually conquered his fear of public speaking. It's like, he just talked to Jackson at the party. It's like, hey, don't do this. And
yeah
then it's like,
the kid who was thinking about jumping. Uh,
yeah, and then
he has another speech in season two. I think the season one speech is much better. It felt more natural.
and so
But yeah.
he doesn't have issues with public speaking now. And just like then season four is like, oh yeah, no, you have again.
Yeah, there are some things here like season four is like redoing some of the things from season one, especially with like Eric and Otis,
But
especially when there's like I don't know, it's like you guys are like 4 years older now. It's just like
and you just regress the development.
you regress in development. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and then he just doesn't know how to use technology. It's like this
right.
is your phone. It was like just take the picture. I mean, dude, everyone has secrets in their phone, but we never pick the wrong picture, and then the internet has to be so fucked apparently. Like I got no idea.
Yeah, just convenient timing, I guess.
Oh my god, and
But yeah,
that's just episode one.
yeah, and then obviously like with the rest of this season, it's like you know how it all ends for the two characters. But I think we should probably start going on to Maeve
Yeah, I haven't got to a lot of issues because
because
at the
Maeve has the most issue. For me, Maeve is like the character who took the most hit.
yeah, and then afterwards we have
And
to
some of it
combine.
is even from season two as well for me as
Yeah,
well.
because afterwards we have to combine something about Maeve and Otis's relationship afterwards and just talk about what happened here.
Right.
Yeah, so far it's just Otis alone. I mean, there's one thing about Eric at the end with him, but just also complete bullshit. But we can just talk about Maeve instead for now.
Yeah.
Uh, so
So
Maeve.
Maeve, go
So
ahead.
so she used to be my favorite character in Sex Education. Just like Kyung Eve, what villain now is my favorite character in that show used to be. She's badass, she's crazy, and she's hot.
Yes.
And but there's still like some humanity underneath them, despite they don't act like it. And they are just they're just fun to watch because they just yell at people, just doesn't care about what people think about them. I mean, at least not in the surface.
Yeah. Like obviously she's like going back to those old stereotypes. Is like she's like the punk girl who is a lot more sensitive than you think.
And
On the surface, on the inside. And what made Maeve like a very compelling character in prior seasons is like she she is like very opinionated. She will speak her mind.
yeah,
I mean, even like later seasons, like season three, was able to show this with her versus Hope,
yeah.
um, and all that stuff. So it's like, yeah, that's stuff that Maeve would do, stand for what's right and against what's wrong.
Okay.
Um, and
Season.
season three has a lot of moments as well. It's like where there are so many times where I kept asking, why are you acting this way? Like, um, for example, the like just to start simple, it's like with Amy, it's like Amy was avoiding Steve because of the whole sexual assault thing, and like that's just the way she was coping with it. And it's like But it's like to use that point as like a way to defend yourself for being like rude to her and Otis, and like maybe she'll be rude to Isaac one day, is because like, you know, that, I mean, that hurt your feelings, I guess, sure. But like, I mean, you know that you're using Amy's like sexual assault as a point to defend yourself. So that makes you look more selfish, which a lot of like, I mean, I've seen like many people say like, you know, Maeve is a selfish character. And there are some things like where I can understand the justifications. Like obviously, like with the whole situation with Eric and like how, you know, Otis, like she had Otis like not go to Eric's party and then like, or take care of him in that sense. And like obviously she used the point like, you know, I don't like I used to be called a cockbiter for a rumor that I didn't even do. But yeah, that was, it's always like hurtful to say that. It's like I didn't accept any money for this. But it's like but like for that, it's like you understand like where Maeve is coming from. And like why she wants to help even if it's not for the money.
Yeah,
Um, and that's why Maeve was like really good. It's like,
yeah,
I mean,
okay, and
yeah, she could be like money hungry, but like it's not like like a not an understandable thing
and
that
yeah,
happens. Yeah,
and she's also really smart. Even it's like she's actually really book smart.
she's really smart, which becomes
Yeah,
apparent when she's not in season two, 3 and 4.
yeah,
Um, yeah,
and so in season 4, so this show basically like Killing Eve skyrocketed Emma Mackey's career. This is her second role. I'm grateful that people recognize her because of this show, and you could never tell this is her second role. It's like
yeah,
she got cast,
yeah,
and just like Killing Eve in season 4, they made her the most pathetic person in the entire show. Worse than Otis. Yes.
yeah, yeah. Maeve's fall off is like much more apparent than like again like the the hemorrhaging scene from his mother is like, I do not buy that she would not go to the hospital um to with Otis. It's like you had season 1, you had a perfect opportunity to homage season 1 with the whole abortion scene where Otis waited for you and then took you home, you know, got you a sandwich and flowers and all that stuff for your abortion. It's like you had an opportunity to homage that where Maeve goes there for Otis when his mother is in the hospital. She could die from the hemorrhaging, so I just don't buy that like Maeve would not be there. That's one. Two, it's like the thing is like if they really wanted her to go out of the country, which we'll go a little bit more in depth in. If you wanted her to go out of the country, I think her being there in the hospital scene and then they have their kiss and then their goodbye, I think that would have been much more impactful for Maeve's side in the sense like you're you know you're considering his point of view, but you're also like you're also like being there for him even though you're not going to be in a relationship now that you're going to America. So it's like I understand like where this was coming from with May, but like the thing is like if you don't, it's a small thing, but like if you, it's just something Maeve wouldn't do, and that's my problem. It's like Maeve wouldn't do that. It's not. It's like they try to do this whole thing like where oh she's too cool for this. It was like
Yeah.
yeah, but like that's not all the time.
Yeah, and
Like she knows a limit. It's
and
like
she doesn't act like that deep down. My
yeah,
God.
so it's like these are like the little things like where they just added up.
Yeah.
I know like Unity saw my notes for season 3 Maeve. It's like
Oh my God.
I had so many notes on season 3 Maeve. Like what was wrong with her?
And I have a lot for season 4. Holy shit.
Yeah,
I don't even,
why don't you talk about season 4 Maeve?
to be honest, I don't even think she has a positive in this season. That's so even like Otis or Eric has like one or two good scenes.
Her positive is giving Elsie a hug. That was nice.
Yeah. Oh my God. So episode 1. This is how she started. Okay. Okay. Technically, how she started because she sees a bunch of people have sex in America. This is not a sex school, by the way.
Right.
So she's like, oh my God, send me dick pics, Otis, please. What the
Look,
fuck?
I will forgive the scene because of her picture. To be fair,
Yeah, to be honest,
that's the
already
best part of the scene.
that's already one of the nothing issues of the entire season. Afterwards, she just goes to class, because Maeve used to act badass, even though she hides stuff. Now she's studying her words. She's like, "Oh my god, excuse me." She's just so shy now. It's like, I have a problem.
A teacher
Hey,
like threw her phone out the window, and she
it's like
doesn't say
react.
anything.
And oh yeah, the teacher.
Yeah,
Remember,
and
he's
it's
not.
not the thing is like it's not like she's doing it so like she can be like kind of reserved because like
Yeah,
because like it's like it's a really prestigious job. I don't want to get kicked out and go back to the UK and all that. The thing is like when she comes back to America like later in the show, it's like she does that just fine and gets no consequences anyway.
yeah, and
But
yeah.
yeah, keep going.
So so that's how it works. So the teacher, besides that extremely stupid scene, he's actually a very respectable writer. He's like he actively criticizes his own work. So he doesn't want people to be shy about like shit on what I did because he actually respects writing as a craft. Means basically every single respectable writer in the world, including me, handle
Right.
criticisms. We'll come back to that, but just keep this in mind.
Yeah.
So the
So
next episode when she gave him in writing because he wants to pick someone or just next 2 episodes. I don't remember which that's it. And it's like and then she just like, okay, you're not good. I'm gonna put another person. She has a breakdown because I'm not good enough. He doesn't pick me. What the fuck? Maeve will never react like that because she's a badass. She wants to stand up. Yes, they try to justify that and saying this like because it's like the Gillian Anderson scene. It's like afterwards, which I actually like her stuff, but they use that to justify because she can't handle failures because she has to grow up to take care of herself and she can't she can't handle people saying no to her, which is fucking bullshit. If you go through all these seasons, because people keep saying no to her all the time,
yeah.
and just and she just keeps standing up, just like she just fights back.
Right, and like
And then what? Do you know what's even the worst part?
how so?
Do you know how long did she take to write the essay?
One day.
Exactly. You wrote this thing in one day, and you gave it to the teacher.
My bad.
That's fine. So you wrote this thing in one day and gave it to the teacher, and she's like, "No, you're not good. This is all the issues." She's actually quite nice about it. Just he doesn't really say anything rude. Just like, this is the issues, and I hope you will improve. And then it's like, and then she just cries about it. I'm very insulted really because I love writing. I give it that. So if I did a script and just wrote it in one day and and just gave it to people, it was like, and then people just like, no, your script is shit. I was like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, of course I might feel bad, but at the same time, I was like, I mean, yeah, to be fair, it is my mistake. I shouldn't wrote this in one day. I didn't redraft. I didn't, take good care.
My other thing about Maeve is like for that moment, it's like Maeve is well yeah, as you said, like taking it way too hard that like yeah, it's like I wrote this in one day, but like I'm getting these criticisms like that is like
No shit.
no shit. It's like but like if you can't take any criticism at all, it's like
Yeah.
you won't be able to function in life in general. It's like and that's weird because like we know Maeve gets criticized all the time. And she has much thicker skin than this. And it's like it's not like the cockbiter scene with Otis and Ruby is like that was like at a boiling point because like Otis was trying to leave and because like he kept saying she was too selfish and not like considering her point of view and it's like then she it gets her emotional to the point where she, starts to cry for that reason because like Otis just called her selfish. It's like you don't even want it's like, why are you even doing this for money? It's like, it's not even worth it. It's like, I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing it because like I get teased and bullied all the time, and this thing that always used to be something that like people would say about me. And it's like, and I just want to be that one stroke of kindness that like
Yeah.
maybe this could stop. Maybe we can stop this behavior. It's like, and it's
Uh.
like, but that gets her emotional because like that's like a
Yeah.
which is something she doesn't show us like often. So it's like, I don't know. It's like, but if the thing that makes you cry in this season is just that somebody didn't like my paper.
I, who wrote it in one day? It's not like you wrote it in like, several years or some shit.
Yeah, so it's like that was just stupid. And then like, then she gets called to the UK, and she's back in the UK. So yeah, that whole America travel didn't really do anything for two
Yeah.
episodes.
This because this is the entire justification of how to go to UK. Yeah, there's also the mom, but they really try to hammer down that this is her low point. That's why she goes to UK again, and
Yeah,
therefore the arc. Oh my god, we haven't even got to how Maeve and Otis met, how they work.
yeah. Go ahead.
So they met. She drops everything and just he just met her. First off, Otis did it when Ruby just like text Otis. He just didn't text her back. It's like, why are you why are you not here for the campaign? I was like, literally my first reaction. Text her back and just say, oh, I'm in the hospital because something happened. I mean, if you don't really want to mention Mavis back for some reason.
Yeah. That's kind of my other problem. Is like I get like these guys are teenagers and all this stuff, but like the thing is like they've been smarter than this. So it's like, so when they start doing stupid things, it's like I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. And because he just I mean, that's just the start of it. They have to crew in like Ruby for love triangle. I don't fucking know. And that's in the so that's why they have a date. I have no idea why she even fucking thinks that's a good idea.
A
I
date
mean,
right after the funeral, by the way.
May thinks that's a good idea because clears the head.
Like
Because instead,
Otis was saying, like you can take your time. Like you don't have to date me now. It's like, I don't know. I want to date you.
it's
It's
like
like, I
what?
okay.
Jesus, I was like,
Are you sure?
I mean, is that spend time with Elsie or just Amy or Isaac? Fucking normal, the most normal behavior. It's like, yeah, we're gonna have a date. It's like, and then,
Yeah.
and it's like, I mean, of course, Otis couldn't disagree. I mean, she could push him back more, but he's just being nice.
And then like they had like there was like 3 attempts to have sex this season.
Yeah,
The way they excused why they can't do the sex was really stupid. So the first
yeah.
one is like they try to have sex in the drain pool where they first like did the pool scene in season
Oh
one.
my! I haven't even got to
And
yeah.
yeah, go
Not
ahead. Yeah,
just yeah.
just
So
before we go there.
there's a lot of things that doesn't add up. So Otis never apparently didn't go to school for 3 days, 3 days, 3 fucking days because Maeve. I mean, sure, I can get it, but 3 days he just didn't tell anyone what does he do. It's fucking bizarre. And so they have a date. They met Jean's sister in the cinema.
Yeah, out of all the places, out of all the places.
And and he just hangs out with Maeve. Just they got that drunk and just uh they just throw stuff. So Otis
Trash. Yeah,
and then Otis and Maeve just like, of course, that's just like fuck that. This actually just killed their relationship because afterwards when Otis brings Maeve to dinner that he reserved, Maeve is just like, oh fuck that, I'm going back to my old school to have sex. Why?
mm,
I don't know. Because she's drunk, I guess.
Uh, yeah. So one of the attempts was like they're in the drain pool from the old school since it's not being used anymore. Basically, basically Otis just has to say before he sticks it in like uh I slept at Ruby's house.
Yeah,
And I was like, bro, it's like you didn't actually sleep with her. It's like first like you guys just passed out and you both were like unconscious. So it's like it's not like anything happened. It's not you were drunk either. Nothing happened. It's like what was the point in telling Maeve that? It's like yeah, it just prolongs to another attempt, which the second time they try to have sex, it's like Otis
yeah,
gets a panic attack because apparently his mother's post divorce depression was like making him really sad and have the anxiety. So it's like okay, so now that was the second excuse as to why they couldn't have the sex scene, and then they finally get to have the sex scene in episode 7. Um, this is at a point where she Maeve accepts that she's gonna go to America and stay there
yeah.
basically, and then like the scene that I have on the image is like that leads to the sex scene and the most boring sex scene
In the entire history.
in the show. It's like and it's like oh my god, it's like the problem is like
Yeah,
they just don't look like they love each other, and that's so weird. Like when you
and
look at season 1, it's like you actually feel like they could fuck each other. Like
yeah, I mean, there's so many things wrong with the artists. I mean, even there's I think we go to a lot of issues. So they have sex, and that's how Otis broke his neck because security came in this time, and he lost his back. To be honest, the entire Mordau thing is just fan service. Remember Mordau? Remember they're in a pool,
yeah, yeah, and
and
I don't know why. It's just a TV show. It's like
oh my god,
there's no need to do fan service like that. I
yeah,
mean, I guess the pool is like very specific. It was like okay, you're
yeah,
yeah, but the pool scene worked for a different reason. So
yeah. But that's how Maeve met Jean. Hi. Uh, and then what's
is it
happening?
possible to make a is it possible to make a sex scene boring? Yeah, actually,
Yeah,
it's so weird. It's like Emma Mackey has shown sex scenes in previous
I
episodes
mean,
before.
I
It's
know,
much more wilder, much more.
and
And this
even
is the person that she loves. Like
yeah,
the other people, they were like casual or like it's like trying something new, but it's like I'm not. But those are much more wilder than the person that she's actually in love with. That makes no
yeah,
sense.
that's so weird. And
Emma
what's
Mackey could do much better. I fully believe that.
yeah, that's true. To be honest, I just think she just saw the script and just like I gave up. The entire
Yeah,
this is the fight with God on the entire season. Because after this, it's like yeah, the funeral stuff. Oh my god, because I find it funny because um, um Otis falls off a bike and his neck injury is healed.
yeah.
What the?
He also fell off a bike in like season 2, so like I don't understand why he broke his neck this time.
Yeah.
Oh well.
So he needs So I don't know. I don't, that's a relationship and just this is the funeral. Like
The funeral was so goofy.
oh my god. I don't even know. Okay, let's just begin with this. Maeve didn't invite Elsie, or her foster parents.
Right. I
Yeah.
had why
Why?
why
Oh my god. I mean, it's like she didn't invite anyone to the funeral. Honestly, it's just Amy invites them. I mean, of course, Amy can't. Of course, Amy won't invite Elsie. It's like because he doesn't. Does she know her Elsie and her foster parents? I'm not sure.
I I don't know. It's just goofy. Like
Yeah, and then
like
and
it's like a basic thing to do. It's like you brought back like Miss Sands and
yeah.
Mr. Hendricks, I
To be
think.
honest, I mean they are fine in the episode. It's like, I don't really have anything wrong. It's like I mean,
There's nothing wrong with it because they're just cameos. That was the whole point.
yeah, but yeah, that's I mean they're fine. They're not ruined. That's a positive.
Yeah.
I mean, and then I'll write the fucking speech. So he tells her brother to fuck off because her mom sucks, blah, and then Isaac just told her just like, yeah, just say something nice about her. I was like, ah, fuck. Yeah, because he just listened to Isaac instead of maybe Amy should say that to her because honestly, I don't even know what Isaac's deal is. It's just so weird,
That's
you
true.
know. And to be honest, she prepared a speech because so basically she can just say that, but so he doesn't even need Isaac's advice. And then instead of like saying stuff like in season 2 or 3, she's like, hey, like how nice she is for like season 2 and 3. So even though my brother is not here, she's still here for me. I mean, she takes drugs again, but here's what she did. And then she just no, he just says stuff like, oh, even though she's a drug addict, she still make pancakes for us.
That's. I hope there was more to that.
Yeah, that's it. I was like, what the fuck? That's it.
That's all she did.
Yeah, because this is just growth.
And you had Elsie. If only you brought her. So
Yeah,
because the actress was there, so it's like I don't understand. And she was like in the scene,
really?
like she was in 2 episodes before, like when Maeve gets off the bus and hugs the little girl and the foster mom.
Yeah,
She was there like 2 episodes earlier. So it's like I don't understand like what happened.
yeah. It's the fucking scene is played as a joke because remember like, hey, let's laugh at like Otis, Eric, Adam carrying the coffin.
It's a bad MCU film kind of
Yeah, it's like
tension thing. So it's like
it's
where
like
the comedy is like used over the sad moment.
even
Or and
actually,
I get the idea. It's like yeah, I would understand Sean doesn't love his mom like that.
yeah. It's like
But
even that before it's like, haha, Adam's Otis sucks at carrying the coffin. I was like, and then just like, haha, the song doesn't work because we don't have good reception. Fucking wild. I mean, to be honest,
uh,
you could just download a song in your phone. It doesn't even need reception. But yeah, stuff happens, I guess.
yeah, yeah.
And then it's like,
That kind of covers like most of season 4. The real issue is like kind of like the ending
oh my god, oh my,
because like
yes.
after this thing like one like episode 7 is where she commits to going to America
So,
for good. But the thing is like
but
this wasn't the point where she got her publication
and okay,
thing.
beforehand,
But
I will
yeah,
mention something for Otis. So he done two things before that.
yeah.
One, in the previous episode, it's like, oh, I'm gonna go now, Maeve said, and then she's like, okay. And then next episode, it's like he just blames her mom, just like, why do you let her go? No, you convince her to let her go. Fuck me. I mean, I, and then it's like I got no idea why Otis was just doesn't just like, oh, I can't just send you away to the airport or some shit. It has to be Isaac and Amy only.
Yeah, yeah, that's just something I don't
Yeah,
really get.
yeah. To be
And
honest,
then yeah,
there's one thing I didn't mention with Eric. So
go ahead.
Otis is a cunt the entire season. The
Yeah.
what, but he apologized to the one thing he didn't did. Eric coming out. This has nothing to
Mm,
do with him. He just doesn't care, even though that's fucking Eric's fault. He made a big deal. He's an asshole for the entire. He's an asshole to Otis the entire time.
yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah. Then the final episode with Maeve, like she goes back to
yeah,
America, and apparently the
uh,
person who got the internship just decided like I don't actually want it, so why don't you have it? And yeah, that's how she gets locked in America forever, or for at least 10 years.
yeah. So
So
and the teacher is, and then she just complains, no, you're treating me too harsh. Actually, people like it, and the teacher's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I treated you too harsh." That's fucking bullshit. The teacher is like, I don't know how the people read it because he doesn't really have an ego. I mean he's fucking moronic, throwing the phone
The thing
away.
is, like, she has like she usually has like a mean snip back at the teacher kind of
Yeah,
scene, like in each season. But the thing is, like, it just made no sense here.
yeah, and then
Um,
because the teacher is like he's not even rude to her. But it's like he's just like he actually
like
prays. He's actually
and it's
just like
like
okay,
he almost made it's like you were saying, like, you almost made me quit to the point where I wouldn't be able to get this. It's like, for
uh,
what you said, it's like that's really how you feel.
look at the scenes beforehand when Maeve actively criticized his work. He's like, yeah, good, I like you because I'm a respectable writer, and this is not actually not really good. I'm glad they criticized me, and now he's just like, no, I'm sorry, I'm too harsh on you. It's like fuck off.
Yeah, and then of
Yeah,
course, like, Maeve
they
just
just
gets that publication,
yeah,
coincidence.
they just
There was no
yeah
other students able to get it. So
yeah. So they destroyed the teacher as well as a character who only appeared like 2 or 3 episodes beforehand. Just great.
yeah, and then Maeve ends with a voiceover, like,
I mean, beforehand it just and then everything after before it just Otis finding Cal because they I don't know. It's like she just met someone, security cameras, and Eric. He met Eric's friend. To be honest, I don't know what the fuck happened in those things.
yeah,
And then also just one plot thing I want to mention.
right.
So they need access to the security camera, and the person who works there is actually from Mordau,
Oh wow.
and she actually knows Ruby.
Hmm.
And she was like, "Oh my god, you're popular in my old school that got abandoned because for shit reasons." And it's like, if you let me to take a selfie with you, I'll let you use the entire security camera of the
Oh,
entire mall.
oh my goodness.
Jesus.
Uh
Um, uh,
yeah, this season has everything. It's kind of crazy.
I mean, it's maybe
Even
gone.
even God.
I never expected that. Uh,
Um,
so the voiceover, yeah, the final thing.
the final voiceover where
Yeah,
she thanks Otis for helping her become, like,
but by the
like a real woman, essentially. Like, she's like able to
which,
have another relationship in her life than she's experienced, like, the life and things like that. It's just like, I don't know. It's
uh,
not really a great thing to hear as a guy.
yeah, and
Um, that you two called each other the love of your lives, and it's like, I get it. You're 17, and I know Lori Nunn has also mentioned that, like, maybe in 10 years they'll be fine, and actually have a relationship together. That's I understand, but it's like,
uh, and then you look,
I don't I don't think that's what Otis
yeah,
would want to hear.
yeah, and if you look at a relationship between season 1 to 3 or fucking 4, I was like, no, he did way more than just open you up. He actually give you a life. I'm not kidding. He's the reason that you actually go to this, and this. He's the reason you actually got money, sex therapist, your idea, and she's. I mean, he's the reason that you actually got to do a lot of things in Mordell.
Yeah, it's
And
just I
and
don't know.
and
It's
the
just
and
it wasn't the bittersweet ending that
yeah, it's just
they
it's just
wanted.
it's just Maeve just being a dick. To be honest, I mean, it's like he's just underselling a lot. Hey, remember Otis actually helped you find your mom in season 3 at the end, and Elsie,
Right.
because you're afraid that your mom will just leave and just take Elsie away, and because.
The
Yeah. Otis lost everything at the end. She lost Ruby. He lost Maeve. He lost. I mean, to be honest, I guess he has Eric, Amy, and Isaac, but when it comes to like love relationship, he lost everything. He's back to square one.
yeah, that's Again, like my whole thing with about like sex education in general is like, I mean, a lot of it, of course, you're gonna have the whole like shipping discussion and all that stuff because like that's kind of like what the kind of show it is. So you kind of have to rely on that. But I mean, the show used to be better than just like the common tropes and things of like that nature. And then it becomes
I don't know.
pretty sanitized, pretty CW kind, and
To
like,
be honest,
and yeah,
I don't even think CW should like refer to have God inside. That is so absurd. Or even 14 Reasons Why doesn't have God. Doesn't have God.
yeah.
Oh my God. Just like,
I it's just it was an experience though. It was not worth it. By the end.
yeah, I mean, to be honest,
I
at the end,
mean,
I was just left so empty at the end.
we both had our own hot takes, but like, I found Euphoria to be better.
I mean,
Um,
I found the Idol being better than season 3 and 4. And no, I don't think the Idol is a good show. People claim it's the worst show this year, but we have worse. Don't worry, we have much worse.
yeah,
I mean,
that's well, that pretty much covers sex education.
yeah,
Uh, Obviously, like season four, like it didn't feel like it was supposed to be the ending per se. Like you do kind of feel like it was trying to be more than that,
yeah,
which obviously the writers have revealed that was the case. Obviously, but then like Emma Mackey said she didn't want to return after 4 seasons. Then Kuti Gatwa, I hope I'm saying that right.
yeah,
He also was not able to return after fourth season.
and
So then eventually it just added on more and more, and then it's like, we
yeah,
should probably just end now. Um, so yeah, it's like obviously like, but at the same time, so I do get why they wanted to stop, and it's very fair. I mean, obviously, one of them is going to be Doctor Who, so
yeah. I was like,
so
yeah,
he's set. Um, but yeah, I mean, I had a good time watching the show, rewatching it for the video podcast,
oh,
and
one thing.
yeah,
It's like,
go ahead.
do you know that season 4 dropped in my birthday?
Oh yeah. Uh,
What a nice birthday gift.
what a nice birthday gift.
Jesus.
But yeah, it's like I find it to be a problem like when the fourth season is your when your first season is your best season.
Yeah.
Personally, because it should be getting better and better. But it got
Uh,
worse and worse,
and to the point, just the show, it just destroys everything. It just, to be honest, the plot is just non-functionable. Is the world building is actually there's not even much world building. Just
which is weird because like it doesn't have to have that problem, but like it has God now, so
yeah, it's like America is now just like free sex everywhere, even though it's not a sex school.
yeah.
And then
And
characters aside from like Adam and his dad,
Mr.
everyone,
Groff, yeah.
and then there's one new good character. Everyone's destroyed, or just shit characters.
And the problem and the main thing about them being good is like they were just detached from everybody else.
Yeah, I mean
This what made them
aside from like funeral with Adam,
yeah.
and I mean, and so like Mr. Goff being in the school. That's, I mean, to be honest, he doesn't really function much there.
Yeah,
I
something Sty brought up. I can confirm that the worst thing when the first is the best. I watch Community.
I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, I like Community season 1 lots.
Yeah,
I mean, to be honest, I don't know if I think season 1 might be a slightly better, but season 2 and 3 is actually not really far behind. 2 and 3, yeah.
yeah. So that covers Sex Education season 4. I I don't really. I'm not gonna miss this franchise. But I hope the best for the actors in it and
Yeah, I mean,
everybody who worked on the projects and all that.
I mean, I watched Doctor Who for Noti Gatwa. I mean, that's pretty much it. It's like, I mean, to be honest, after this season, I just pretty much want to forget about it. It's just The final season just ruins everything. Game of Thrones season 8.
Yeah. And honestly, to just end with season 1, you're not going to lose anything, really.
Yeah, that's
Um,
insane.
but yeah, so thanks for listening to our first podcast about sex education fell off. I am Red Devilos Reviews.
And I'm Unity Reviews Analysis.
And thanks for watching. We'll see
Bye.
you next week.